that one back and out of play. Count even at a ball and a strike. Skylar Valentine pretty much gives you a Sports Center kind of catch every game. By the way, if you'd like to go back to the YouTube feed, it is back up and running now. 1-1 the count to the pitch. Off-speed delivery, Skylar way out in front of it, swinging and missing for strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting center fielder. Skylar against lefties on the season hitting .406. Jackson Tedder, the lefty on the hill, has a 1-2 count on Skylar. And the pitch. High, outside. Count evens at 2 on Skylar Valentine. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Ben Brookover got things started with a line drive that popped out of the glove of Blake Schinkel. He finished the out by throwing to Connor Gramis at first. 2-2 the count here to Valentine. Outside low, ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. A couple of guys throwing that on first pitch. One of those may be Aubrey Major. This one's hit high in the air toward right center field. It's going to get down in that gap. The wind blew it right in between Evans and Schaefer. Valentine had to play right in front of him, and he pulls in standing up at second base. No reason to try for 3. It's another double on the season for Skylar Valentine.
Now up the back right there, Jamestown, right fielder, number 9. Got it! Set!
Skylar now has 10 doubles on the season. Officially taking the title of doubles machine away from Ben Brookover. Hunter at second, just 1 out. Colin Stack hit a triple his last time up, back in the 2nd inning, and came in to score. Up here now with Valentine at second, has a big cut at the first pitch. That was inside and low from Jackson Tedder, and it's strike 1. No balls and a strike. Right-handed hitter is Colin Stack, ready to go again. 0-1 pitch. Grounded, shortstop. Rodriguez comes in, fields it, makes a throw to Connor Gramis, moving up to third base on the groundout by Colin Stack is Skylar Valentine.
Now up the back right there, Jimmers, the shortstop, number 1. Hey! Whoa!
Early in the game to be talking about insurance at this point. It would just be a nice thing if we could get this run in. And OD at the plate with Valentine at third. First pitch off speed delivery. OD tried to check his swing and look it around. Strike 1. Alex grounded out to the second baseman Blake Schinkel for the first out of the 2nd. Up here now trying to get Valentine home. 0-1 pitch. Checked his swing that time. They appeal. Josh Maiman, the bases umpire, says no swing. And the count's even at 1-1. The trees out there in center field are really bending over. That wind continuing to blow. Ground ball, shortstop, Brett Rodriguez. The first baseman, Connor Gramis. O'Donnell grounds out for the final out of inning number 4. No runs across, despite the
Let's find out what Jamestown. Here's that one. Thank you very much. And just we're going to show them some baseball words on our video board, but just like in hand, some of the letters are standard removed. If you guys can identify 3 out of 5 words that are there, we'll give you each a prize. Alright, here comes word number 1. Let's see if you know what this one is. Anyone have an idea? The crowd can help out if you guys say no. Is it bullpen? Yes, it is. And one. It's over two. We're at number two.
Michael Ginther out there for Jamestown James on August 23rd. And very windy Sunday afternoon. Russell Dietrich Martin. Better than the rain we had. But rather damp in the late morning and early afternoon hours. The rain delay on the start of the
Thank you very much for that, James. The next person to our full shot in COVID. The 2 million for you to take on. We have got hoodies, calls, t-shirts, hats, and much more. Stop down on the push-up, down at the first base side.
Struck out to 61 pitches coming into the fifth for Michael. 43 of the strikes in just 18 balls.
Leading off to the top of the pitch, the Pioneers of seventh fielder number 1, Golden Evans.
59 pitches so far for Tedder, just 61 for Ginther. And 4 less batters faced by Tedder as well, 15 on the game. Top of the fifth, first pitch to Colton Evans, center fielder.
This top half of the inning was the Ginther, the focus score Indian batter. They fix those batter on top of the fifth, short chop, 3-hour drafts, 2-hour hot dogs, only for this afternoon.
Colton Evans swings and misses strike 2. And a promotion going on at the ballpark. These pop up. It's not always the same inning, but the one in this case is if Evans strikes out, there's a discount on adult beverages.
I also have the batters for
That one's fouled back by Evans. Count remains 0-2 on him. Evans' third trip to the plate, technically fourth. Last one didn't count back there in the fourth inning. There's a 0-2 count on him, but Joe Prezuzzo was caught stealing. Reached on an error to O'Donnell in the first round of his opponent. Did he check his swing? They check with Mamie. Strike 3, call.
Taylor Sanders with that strikeout, you can now get the 3-hour drafts and 2-hour hot dogs. But this is all for this half inning.
Baseline to talk to Bill Lindquist. And he's trying to say, why would you, why did that happen? Because they appealed. So with 2 umpires, first base line, and Evans may be a left-handed hitter, but he strikes out. And so there goes that strikeout promotion. Yay for the adult beverages. 1 out, nobody aboard. Blake Schinkel at the plate, squares the bunt and bunts it foul. And Chris Conley was reaching up for it, and he ended up stepping on the bat of Blake Schinkel. Fortunately, did not roll his ankle. That's one of the hazards of that. And they checked to see if he's okay. And Chris says, actually, I went down because that hit me in the chest protector. So there you go. 1 strike to Blake Schinkel. Schinkel walked back in first and reached on an error to Alex O'Donnell in the third. Swings and misses at the next Michael Ginther pitch, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody aboard. Top of the fifth. And the Jammers up by a 2-1 score. 0-2 pitch in the dirt. And the count now at 1-2. Catcher Marshall Gilbert is on deck for the Pioneers. 1-2 pitch. This is outside, and the count now 2-2. Pioneers dressed in their road navy tops, white piping around that jersey, and their numbers in white, and their sponsor right below the numbers on the backs. Next pitch by Michael Ginther misses. Ball 3, 3 count. Talk about patient at-bats. A good one here for Schinkel. Full count on him. And the payoff pitch from Ginther in the dirt. Ball 4. Schinkel goes down to first.
Now the back of catcher number 35, Marshall Gilbert.
Every trip. Walking, reaching on an error, and walking again. To bring up Marshall Gilbert, the catcher, right-handed hitter. Gilbert struck out swinging on a 1-2 pitch back in the first, for the first out of that inning, and hit a fly ball out. A windswept one that drifted over toward right center, but no problem for Skylar Valentine for the first out of the third. First pitch to him, misses low, ball one. 1 ball and no strikes to Marshall Gilbert. Michael Ginther with a 1-0 pitch. Low ball 2. Suddenly, Big Mike is having trouble with the strike zone after striking out Evans. Got out to an 0-2 count on Schinkel and then lost him. Schinkel down at first, drawing the walk. 2-0 pitch. Chopped off the front of the plate and goes into foul territory, and that is strike 1 on Gilbert. Conley and Ginther have a little talk as they both met there in foul territory, and now Chris wants to go out and continue that discussion with Michael Ginther out on the mound. Obviously, the two young men know each other pretty well. Ginther attending Canisius, and of course Conley as well. Conley taking his time, and that brings home plate umpire Bill Lindquist starting out toward the mound, but he stops because Conley has turned and come back to home plate. Gilbert will step back in with a 2-1 count on him. 1 out, runner at first, Blake Schinkel. 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. Another chopper in foul territory. Head coach Brian Hill retrieves that one.
Okay, the first batter is number 20, Ryan Mackey.
Count is even at 2 now on Gilbert. A big at-bat for both the Pioneers and the Jammers here.
Second batter is number 13,
2-2 count. Michael Ginther makes a toss over to first. More of a courtesy toss than anything else. Blake Schinkel back.
Third batter is number 6, John Conti.
So we reset with that 2-2 count. Ginther from the stretch, and the break-even pitch is in the dirt, ball 3. Gilbert throws his hand up and signals to runner Blake Schinkel to stay put. That one did not get by Chris Conley. And now a big 3-2 pitch coming from Ginther with 1 out. Runner goes. Ground ball, high chop. O'Donnell has that and throws out Marshall Gilbert. Schinkel took off.
Now the back of first baseman number 4, Connor
It's
Graham.
getting Schinkel up to second base. Runner at second and 2 out now. And it brings up Connor Gramis, the first baseman. Things looking a little better for Michael Ginther here after getting that out. Gramis on the afternoon, fly ball out to Valentine, second out of the first, and also grounded out to Alex O'Donnell for the final out of the third. A repeat of that in the fifth would be handy. Runner at second and 2 out. Time called by Connor Gramis as Michael Ginther takes a little too long for him. Time granted. And Gramis will step back in now, ready to face Michael Ginther. 2-1 Jammers lead. We're in the top of the fifth. The pitch. Off-speed delivery right on the outside part of the plate. And strike 1 call. Michael Ginther, as I say, knowing Chris Conley, and these two guys working together at Canisius. And Chris usually calls a pretty effective game. Tries to come inside and low to Gramis, but it's too low. Gramis takes ball 1. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Ginther now at 79 pitches here in the 5th. 1-1 the count, and the pitch. High outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Two out. Schinkel walked with 1 out and is now standing at second base. No official activity in the Jammers pen. There's always activity down there. It's just whether what's going on is related to the game. That one's fouled off and counts even at 2 now on Gramis. As I said, we've seen Gramis at a number of positions for the Elmira Pioneers. With his batting average, it all makes sense because you've got to get somebody into the game that has his batting average. That's fielded by Ben Brookover. Runner safe at first and continuing on around third. Coming up to score and tie the game is Blake Schinkel. A 2-hopper to Ben Brookover. Michael Ginther got over to the bag at first, but not in time. We're tied at 2. Hayden Carter will come out now and talk to Michael Ginther. Who has just made it back to the mound. So you have Carter, Ginther, and Conrad.
Jamestown for fast running service and great low prices on all your favorite items. Our fresh food is proud to get
Conley back behind the plate. Ginther still standing in the grass behind the mound. 82 pitches now for Mike. Nucerino at the plate, a left-handed hitter. Hit into a fielder's choice back in the first inning that brought that inning in. It's this one high in the air, center field, Valentine back. Circles underneath and makes the catch for fly ball off the bat of Anthony Nucerino. 4. Out number 3. First ball hitting. Anthony Nucerino flying out to Skyler. For the Jammers and a runner left on base. We have now completed 4.5 innings of play at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. And the score, Jammers 2, Pioneers 2.
This one is brought to you by Taco Hut. Taco Hut is the hometown favorite since 1972. Their vaccine that's on the leaders can't be beat. And the Taco Hut right after the game. Fans, battle information for the city will be provided by today's junior PA officer. Let's know the fans where Matt Warren is standing by. Thank you very much, everyone. You can everyone slow approach here in Grandstand. You will have to be a ready and announcer. Speaking out the next game, that's the play. The next one to here will be Masters.
Back at Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park, I'm Dave Shannon on the Jammers Baseball Network, ready to bring you the Jamestown half of inning number 5, and it will be hitters number 7, 8, and 9. Ryan Markey, Nick Burnick, and John Conte blew up to face Jackson Tedder. Jammers got the scoring started in the bottom of the first with the single tally, added 1 in the second. Pioneers got within 1, single tally in the 4th, and now in the top of the 5th inning have tied this thing up at 2. Markey, the leadoff batter, walked back in the 2nd inning and was then caught stealing. Squares the bunt, pulls back and watches that way outside in the left-hander's batter's box. Markey, the right-handed hitter, takes ball 1. 2 runs on 6 hits for the Pioneers, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Jammers. 1-0 pitch. That one misses low, ball 2. It's like a couple of pitchers throwing to each other at the moment out there in the Pioneers pen. 2-0 pitch. Inside low, ball 3. Tedder has yet to hit the strike zone with Ryan Markey, the leadoff batter. Counts 3-0. Jammers hoping to get something started here in the bottom half of the 5th and answer that run with maybe a couple here in the bottom of the 5th. Let's see. Markey takes a pitch, as he should, on 3-0. And Tedder finds the strike zone on the outside corner, and the count now 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Tedder's 3-1 pitch. Hit high in the air, shallow right though. In a couple of steps is Ayrton Schaefer. And there's that thing that Evans does. Colton Evans has, in baseball parlance, is no business being over there. He was within 7 feet of Ayrton Schaefer, who was clearly in control of that situation. He did this in Elmira to both his left and right fielder. And they weren't calling for any help either. 1 gone in the Jammers half of the 5th, and it brings up Nick Burnett. Nick at the plate for a second trip, popped out to the first baseman, Connor Gramis, for the final out of the 2nd. Nobody aboard, 1 out here. The 1-0 pitch hit towards center field. Back about a step and a half, Colton Evans. He was positioned perfectly to catch the fly ball off the bat of Nick Burnett. 2 up, 2 down. And it brings up left fielder John Conti. We talked to you about pitch count there back in the top half of this inning. Michael Ginther exited the mound with 83, and there's only 65 now for Tedder. Not the best balls to strikes ratio, but the game's tied at 2. 39 strikes, 26 balls by Tedder. Make it 27. First pitch to Conti, ball 1. Ball 2, outside. 2 balls and no strikes, lefty to lefty here. Conti against left-handed pitching is hitting .467. His 11th game against a left-handed pitcher. Outside low, ball 3. Conti with a little excuse me swing, grounded out to Gramis, his first trip to the plate. Trying to get on a walk here with 2 out and nobody aboard. Backs him away from the plate, and it is ball 4. Jackson Tedder walks John Conti, and that'll send us around to the top of the order in Chris Conway.
Back up the bat for good. Jammers with the catcher number 17, Chris Conway.
Interesting split for Chris Conway. Against right-handed pitching, Chris is hitting .467, and against lefties hitting .292. That's those stats coming into the game here this afternoon. Let's see what he can do here. Conti at first, 2 out. Rips 1 foul past Hayden Carter, and that is strike 1. And Chris frustrated with himself that time. Made the walk over to that cutout circle over toward the Pioneers dugout, and that was all about him. Didn't like the way he swung on that pitch from Jackson Tedder. 0-1 the count. And the pitch. There goes Conti. Throw down by Gilbert, not in time. Conti with what appeared to be and is a pretty easy steal at second base. Gilbert's got a good arm. He had to throw right on the bag, but Conti had a heck of a jump. It's a quick the other way. John Conti at second. Scoring position now with 2 out. Conti, another one of the Canisius guys. And that Canisius guy at the plate, Chris Conley. 0-2 the count on him. Rip to the first baseman, Connor Granis. He'll handle it unassisted, and that'll do it for the Jammers. And they're having the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Pioneers. Jammers 2, Pioneers 2. We'll be back with the Pioneers half of inning number 6 after this on the Jammers Baseball Network.
Golden Sunlight invites everyone to stop by their friendly neighborhood sports bar. Golden Sunlight has a great selection of craft beer, baseball, food, and it's the home of many other Jamestown favorites. Check out the unique panorama and specials that are available every day. Golden Sunlight is home of the tanker and the professional concessionaire of the Jamestown Jammers. They are located at 82nd Street, just 1 block from the stadium.
Jamestown Jammers, they would like to get the point buoyed by a Pioneers. But right now they're hit line 2. The Almighty
the first Big 12 Sunday game of the season.
back out.
We have more than 1 day this season. The only Big 12 or 3. The all Sunday games is $5 admissions for fans. Special 5 p.m. service. To the game. Once again, our first Big 12 Sunday game is up today. And the next one on the 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Once again, the next 4 Big 12 Sunday games will be on July 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th.
Brett Rodriguez leads off. It's 102%. He scored the first.
We also have 2-for-1 Thursday deals. Buy one, get one free ticket, which apply to all seats at the park. We have first one on June 22nd, and we will have 2 more next month on the 13th and the 27th. Once again, the next 2 2-for-1 Thursdays will be on July 13th and 27th.
All the specials we have during the season. What you want to take advantage of coming up this Friday, 5 on Friday. All seats in the park are $5. We have our usual array of games on the field and special giveaways like
We have the top of 6 for the Pioneers, the shortstop number 6,
on adult beverages. Rodriguez, Schaefer, Bosick. As I said, Rodriguez 1 for 2 in the afternoon. Michael Ginther out there for the start of the 6th inning. This is high and outside, ball 1. That was pitch 84 for Mike. 1 ball, no strikes to count. And the 1-0 pitch. Fouled near the right leg of catcher Chris Conley, and slips by there, goes to the home plate grandstand. Picked up by Aaron Schaefer. Tossed back over to the Jammers. 1-1 the count and pitch. Ripped toward the Pioneers dugout, a bit of a wake-up call, but there is protective netting there in front of the dugout. But when you're hanging off the top of the railing, sometimes that netting gives a little too much. No harm, no foul. Well, foul, no harm. 1-2 the count, the pitch. Lofted toward right field, the wind blowing it, but Colin Stack staying with it, makes the catch. And the fly ball off the bat of Brett Rodriguez for out.
Now up the bat at PH number 14, Arden Schaefer.
Arden Schaefer steps to the plate. 1 for 2. Deep fly ball out, caught by Skylar Valentine in pretty spectacular fashion for the second out of the 2nd inning. He then singled to center and fourth. Gets that one high in the air. Deep to right field. Stack going back at the warning track is going to have to turn and watch it bounce off the wall. Picks it up, throws it in, and that comes into Alex O'Donnell, stopping at second base with a one-out double. Aaron Schaefer, he's getting a couple of balls right here today. One of them he came up empty on, but not that time. Schaefer at second, just one out, and Brett Bosick stepping to the plate. Chris Conley having a conversation with Michael Ginther. Bosick, another guy that is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Casey Vincent is warming up in the Jammers pen. Michael Ginther trying to squelch this little bit of a threat here by the Pioneers. Chris Conley tried the unnormal way of yanking that to frame it, and he didn't get the call. 1-0 the count. Grounded up the middle into center field. It's a base hit. Brian Hill is waving the runner. Captain Schaefer comes. No, he stumbles before he gets to the plate, but the throw was held up by Valentine. Normally, that's what you do. Schaefer stumbled about 10 feet or so away from the plate, had to get back up. He gets across the plate in time. RBI single for Bosick, and Elmira now has a 3-2 lead, and Anthony Barone is out of the Jammers dugout, and that will probably be all for Michael Ginther on the afternoon. And it is Casey Vincent coming into the game out of the Jammers pen. So while we get you ready for Casey Vincent and also the final totals for Michael Ginther, as Mike takes a walk off the field and rewarded with a nice round of applause from the fans here, possibly Dietrich Jr. Park.
Now pitching for your Jammers from St. Bonaventure, number 3, Casey Vincent.
Casey Vincent into the game, and Michael Ginther's afternoon is his ball. He's 5 1/3, faced 27 batters, gave up 3 runs on 8 hits, walked a couple, struck out 3, a wild pitch that I counted. Threw 90 overall, 61 of those strikes and 29 balls. And here's Casey Vincent into the game. Get you up to date on what
This is Tiger Golf Course in West Seal, New York. Our opinion from the golf course only charges $5 for silver under 15. Who pays? Pay with us.
2017 as a pitcher coming into this particular appearance. Casey is 1-1 with a 6.75 ERA. This is 5th appearance on the hill. 5 1/3 thrown so far. He's given up 7 runs on 8 hits, only 4 of those 7 runs are earned. He's walked 4, struck out 8, given up a double. And opponents are average.
There's a team helping you in the right part for you at the right price. This is Showtime on top of browser inventory. The best more information on vehicles. Sell the test drive and acquire out financing.
Had a rough outing against these Elmira Pioneers early on in the season. He ended up taking a loss in that game as he only went a third of an inning. Gave up 2 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned and walked 3. He only faced 6 batters in that outing. I'm sure he'd like to rectify that. Taking the lead 3-2 against the Jammers with a single tally here in the top of the 6th. 1 out, runner at first, Bosick. Vincent's first pitch. Grounded toward O'Donnell. Flags it down. Throws it with the glove to his second baseman, Burnick on to first. And that is an inning-ending double play. Wow. O'Donnell diving, had it in his glove, lifted his glove up, put it in a perfect position. A run across for the Tigers in here now for the sixth. New Jammers errors.
It's a focus Pioneers. Here's that I never say any much. I think that Danny Michael here ready to compete our coaches for our families. It's our relay race. We're first say a wee third red, in and out the leading orange shows. They'll go down one way and they'll come back. Once they get back to where they started, they pick up the volleyball and just get shot to a giant beer ball game. First one to say the shot wins. On the mark, we set and go! This part of the game is a little trickier than it seems if you got to be careful when maneuvering the tank. Right out the cone. Dan's got a very exciting lead on Michael now. He gets the volleyball first. He takes the third shot. It's a little long, but big for Michael. He gets the lead today. Here's the coach's corner. Great good. That Eagle. Thank you very much, Matt. Right over the straight back. He's going to talk about $5 prizes. All seats in the park are $5 each. As well as on-field games at the Central Village. Our first $5 prize is the next week on June 30th. As well as July 7th, 4th,
tie. And now they scored one in the top half of the sixth inning to take the lead 3-2. Chris Estrada, Ben Brookover, and Skylar Valentine due up to face Jackson.
Leading up to the bottom of 6 for your Jammers of third baseman number 16, Chris Estrada.
Estrada up to the plate for a third trip. 1 for 2 on the afternoon. First pitch to him. Outside corner, strike one call. There's been somebody up in the Pioneers' pen almost every inning. Side armor is loosening out there at the moment. Estrada pops it up. Second baseman, Blake Schinkel, calls for it and makes the catch. Estrada's out number 1. And it brings up Ben Brookover.
Now up the back for your Jammers of first baseman number 30, Ben
Ben Brookover has to step up to the plate. Ben's 0 for 1. Sack fly back in the first inning, and then hit this line drive at Schinkel. It was hit hard enough that it popped right out of his glove. He was down on his knees as he got to that line drive. Had to get it up on his knees and then make the throw over to first baseman Grammas, but they got him for the first out of the fourth. Ben fouls off the first pitch, strike one. Tedder's 0-1 pitch, high, ball one, and the count's now 1-1 to Ben Brookover. Jammers heading out against Adirondack on Gonzaga and a doubleheader at Newark. Ground ball to Ward short. Takes a nice off for Brett Rodriguez, and he throws out Ben Brookover for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Tedder seeming to gain confidence as this game is going along.
Now up the back for your Jammers, the center fielder number 2,
Only faced 4 batters last week. Only 3 in the third, after giving up single tallies in the first and second. 2 out, nobody aboard for Skylar Valentine. First pitch way outside in the third as well. And that is ball 1 to the Jammers center fielder. Skylar 1 for 2. Line drive out, hit at Blake Schinkel that he caught. That pitch is inside and low, ball 2. 2-0 to count. Skylar doubled into that gap in right center field, rolling out toward the 414 mark. We got him to third, but couldn't get him in. 2-0 the count here. Jackson Tedder, the lefty on the hill. Skylar Valentine, the right-handed hitter, takes that one outside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. For Tedder, that was pitch number 8. 3 balls, no strikes, the pitch. Valentine doesn't take the bat off his shoulder and he watches strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. As the wind kicks up again. This tree's out in the outfield still bent over pretty well, and Jackson Tedder was just about ready to go into his motion, and then that gust of wind went through, and Jackson held up. He's reset and brings the 3-1. On the outside corner, strike 2. Skyler didn't agree with the call, but didn't put up a big fuss. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tedder getting ready for the payoff pitch. Chopped off the plate, fielded by Tedder, throws to first. Gramus can't hang on to it. Valentine trips over the bag, and they're going to say that Valentine interfered, and that's why Gramus dropped the ball.
No one's on the hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We played 6 innings.
Anthony Brown having a discussion with Bill Lindquist, the home umpire, and I don't think he wants
that boy is on the grandstand room in the first base side with all the details.
Negative result. Get back to the Chambers dugout. So retires Skylar Valentine 1-3. Number 6 and 3 down. Now he played 6. Our trailing Pioneers 3.
It's 3. All right, the only thing we don't want here is 6. 6 or 3 would be 9, that would be terrible. Anything more than 6. Here it goes, it's going right now. Nothing more than 6. Oh! Look to the leader. 3 plus 6 letters of 9. You were great in that. Second play. Second year. They were upset. Bands to surrender their concession stand. Stop drinking alcohol. You're 7-7. Thank you. Make sure that you remember taking treats as first touching groups. Once again, Bill stands up, push up, it's not open, the stop goal, great down merchandise for you to take home. We have t-shirts, hats, polos, hoodies, and cups. The Jammer push up is located in the first base bleachers.
Back at Russell A. Dietrich Jr. Park is Jamestown, New York, ready for the Pioneers half, inning number 7. Top of the order, Evans, and Gilbert do up the base. Casey Vincent, who only had to throw 1 pitch to get out of the jam that was in front of him when he came in to relieve Michael Gibson in the top half of the 6th.
Leading off the top of the Pioneers, center field on the
double play. First pitch to Evans, right in there and strike 1 call. No balls and a strike to the left-handed hitting center fielder, Colton Evans. 0-1 pitch, high, and the count is even at 1. Evans afternoon reached on an error to Alex O'Donnell back in the first, grounded out to second base, and Nick Burnick for the 3rd out of the 2nd, and then struck out swinging in the 5th. Next pitch to him, strike 2, and the count out 1-2. Casey Vincent's 1-2 pitch. Misses outside, counts even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Evans, the leadoff batter here in the top half of the 7th, with his Pioneers up 3-2. The pitch, and that one's high and outside, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Casey Vincent from Russell, PA, the St. Bonaventure product. Slapping at it and fouling it out of play is Evans. Count remains full at 3-2. Jackson Tedder is doing a lot to right his statistics and records so far in the game. That one's fouled back in this direction, but is low and hits the netting at the home plate grandstand. Count still full at 3-2. Tedder came in with an overall mark in the season of 0-1 and a 6.92 ERA. So we've given up 2 runs. Another one fouled back to the netting. Count still full at 3-2. And this will then be pitch number 9 to Colton Evans, left-handed hitting center fielder. Nothing doing in the Jammer's pen. Not that there would necessarily be unless Anthony Barone goes to a situational matchup. Ground ball to Nick Burnick. Colton Evans grounds out to him again for the second time in the afternoon, and that will bring up Blake Schinkel.
Now for back to second base, Blake Schinkel.
Schinkel at the plate for a third trip. He's been on base every time, and he's 0 for 1. He walked in the first and the fifth, and he reached on an error to Alex O'Donnell back in the third. First pitch to him right in there, and Casey Vincent starts out Schinkel with a strike right down the pipe. 0-1 the count. 1 out, nobody aboard the pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. All 3 major warming in the Pioneers' pen.
All right, sounds good.
Outside in the dirt, the pitch from Casey Vincent. Chris Conley scoots over and stops it right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes count. 1-2 pitch from Vincent. That one held there for a long time by Conley, understandably so. Looked to be on the inside corner and looked to be about knee high, but home plate umpire Bill Lindquist says ball 2. Counts even at 2. And the pitch. Belt high that time, and he doesn't get that call. So obviously Vincent's throwing to a postage stamp strike zone at this point. 3-2 pitch. This one's fouled back and over the press box area. The count remains full at 3-2. Evans had a full count against Vincent as well. A couple of fouls to go with it before he finally retired on a ground out. And a pitch this time outside corner, strike 3 call. Schinkel ready to go down the first base line, but that's not.
Now for back to catcher number 35, Marshall Gilbert.
2 gone, nobody aboard. Marshall Gilbert steps up. Gilbert's 0 for 3 in the afternoon. A strikeout victim back in the first. Fly ball out to Valentine in the third, and grounded out to Alex O'Donnell for the second out of the fifth. Fouls off the first Casey Vincent pitch. Strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting catcher, Marshall Gilbert. Gilbert called time, stepped out and back in. Vincent ready to bring the 0-1 pitch. High, and the count's even at 1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, nobody aboard. Elmira leads this game this afternoon by a score of 3-2. 1-1 pitch is high, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count to Marshall Gilbert. Casey Vincent with a 2-1 pitch. Swung at and foul tipped into the glove of Chris Conley. Lindquist took his mask off just to make sure that Chris Conley was okay on that foul tip. 2 balls, 2 strikes. trying to get the scoreboard guy to change that to strike 2, but he doesn't. This one's popped up and could be playable. Brookover drifting over, and the wind ends up pushing it far enough that it bounces off the first base side bleachers. Count remains even at 2 on Marshall Jones. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and nobody aboard. Casey Vincent in relief of Michael Ginther here in the top of the 7th. 2-2 pitches popped up and out of play. And the count remains even at 2. Next home game for the Jammers, not till Friday. Geneva will be here. And then we go back out on the road again. Go visit those Diamond Dogs. On the 1st of July, that pitch is called. Strike 3. Gilbert's gone, and so are the Elmira Pioneers. No runs across for them, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. 2 strikeouts in the inning.
No hits, no errors, and no one left on base.
We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Elmira 3, Jamestown 2 on the Jammers baseball.
And it's time for the 7th stretch. So get on your feet and you're ready to sing. Matt Warren is with the fans who are ready to sing, taking out the ball game. On your feet and the 7th stretch, let's sing on together.
Jammers ground crew with a quick drag before the Jammers Gilbert
now pitching for the Elmira Pioneers, David Powers
on the Pioneers roster. And now pitching for those Pioneers.
There's the 7th stretch proudly brought to you by Kingsview Paving. Kingsview Paving and Excavating will remember the game. It's supported a local Jamestown Jammers.
2 runs on
And this home game is also brought to you by Anderson Precision. From heavy trucking to Pelican Motors, Giant Truck Anderson Precision. Remember that young Anderson Precision, go Jammers!
It'll be up to Stack, O'Donnell, and Markey to try to get something started with Aubrey Major on the hill. He's been a thorn in the Jammers' side when he's out there in the Gomez.
Leading off the power 7 for your Jammers, the right fielder, number 9, Red Stack!
Against us, he's 1-0, has appeared in 2 games, thrown 3 innings, and only given up 1 hit, striking out 5, facing 9 batters with just hitting 111. Aubrey Major on the hill. Aubrey Major on the season for these Elmira Pioneers. Get his numbers here in a sec. Colin Stack steps in, and the first pitch by Major. This is outside low, ball 1. Major on the season, 1-0 at 3.75 ERA there. This is 8th appearance of the season. 12 innings under his belt so far. 1-0 pitch to Stack. Out the door, right field, and it hangs up long enough for the right fielder Schaefer to catch it for out number 1. Here, somebody say kind of beat there.
Now up the back for your Jammers, the shortstop, number 1. Hey! Go!
Brings up OD, Alex O'Donnell. Tough day for OD in the field. A couple of errors charged to him, the only 2 that the Jammers have had today. First pitch to him is high, ball 1. OD at the plate. Grounded out to second baseman Schinkel for the first out of the 2nd, and then to shortstop Rick Rodriguez in the 4th for the final out of that inning. Up here in the bottom of the 7th, with 1 out and nobody aboard, ground ball to Ward Rodriguez again. Scoops it up and throws and gets Alex O'Donnell for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Aubrey Major continuing to assert his dominance over the Jamestown Jammers. 2 up, 2 down.
Now over the back of DH number 20, Ryan Markey.
Ryan Markey steps up. Ryan with some DH duties today for Anthony Barone's Jammers. First pitch to him. On the outside corner off speed delivery by Major, strike 1. No balls and a strike, 2 out, nobody aboard. Jammers trailing by just 1. The 0-1 pitch. Cut and miss, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes on Ryan Markey. As the game progresses, the Jammers are running out of outs to try to tie this thing up or go ahead in it. Pioneers are leading 3-2. 0-2 the count on Markey. Right-handed pitcher Aubrey Major for the 0-2 pitch. Hits in the dirt in front of the plate, leaves an indentation there. About maybe 6 inches in front of the plate. Counts 1 and 2. Markey on the afternoon is 0 for 1. Drew a walk back in the 2nd inning. Then was caught stealing, a call he disagreed with. 1-2 the count. Major's pitch. Way outside. Ball 2. Game with some heat outside. Aubrey Major is a tall young man. 6'5", 205. From Indianapolis, he's attending Siena. 2-2 the count on Ryan Markey. The off-speed pitch floats right across the plate. Ryan takes strike 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Jammers in the 7th. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left. At the end of the 7th, Jammers
It's time to put a wheel and young here at Picture Park. And our almighty Hall, otherwise known as that woman, is now at a first base dugout with Eddie Lucky Teston. And much more than a dedicated Jammers fan here today. And he got it with your free choice. Yeah, thank you, Senator, for Jammers fan. The players are there each and every day on the field. Senator Jones is here in the audience. And go back and you see. However, man, this is Ross here in front of us. Rudy Flies in there, Rudy Flies in there, one never knows. Choice is yours. Do you want the hat or do you want the box? What do you want? Take the hat!
Back of us will be Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York.
He's taking a hat the first time in the season. So the
kinds of things are where we go up. Top of 7th.
And this moment of the game is brought to you by All-Star EMS Services. All-Star EMS has provided medical transportation over 4,000 patients since its inception. Like a Rollins Chapel tonight, you can always trust All-Star EMS.
Totals for Casey Benson on the afternoon. Inning 2/3. Faced 4 batters. Struck out a couple of them. Threw 24 pitches, 16 strikes, and 8 balls. And Nolan Hunt will face Connor Gravis, Anthony Nixerino, and Brent Rodriguez. Nolan Hunt, when pitching here at Rosalie Dietrich Jr. Park, is 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA. So he's 15 here at Rosalie Dietrich Jr.
Leading off the top of the 8th for the Pioneers.
Nolan Hunt on 1.29 ERA. This is
the first baseman number 4, Connor Grant.
Giving up 2 runs, 4 hits. Only one of those runs earned. Walked 2 and struck out 6. Opponents averaging just 174. with Nolan Huntz on the hill. He'll be facing Connor Gramis, the first baseman. And the first pitch to him. Bonded foul down the right field line and past the bullpen of the Elmira Pioneers. Goes bouncing to the perimeter fence of Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park. Strike one. Gramis on the afternoon is 1 for 3. Fly ball out to Valentine. Ground out to O'Donnell. And a single back in the 5th. It was one that Ben Brookover fielded, and Michael Ginther could not get to the bag in time, and Gramis reached. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count against Connor Gramis, right-handed hitting first baseman. Lefty on the hill, Nolan Hunt, and the 2-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the third baseline. Nice play by the third base coach and head coach of the Pioneers. And of course, it's Brian Hill. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gramis, the leadoff batter here in the top of the 8th, with the Jammers trailing 3-2 outside low. And that is ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hunt working quickly, brings the payoff pitch inside in the dirt and scoots by Chris Conley. Gramis goes down to first base with a leadoff walk.
Now to bat the left fielder number 13, Anthony Nucerino.
Anthony Nucerino steps up. So far on the afternoon, he is 0 for 3. Hit into a fielder's choice to end the first. Grounded out to second baseman Nick Burnick in the 4th. And a fly ball out to Valentine in the 5th. Bunts at it, pops up in the air, and bare hand caught by Chris Conley. And the home plate umpire signals that Nucerino is out number 1.
Now to bat the shortstop number 6, Brett Rodriguez.
I always kind of wish for those situations, but that time it came true. 1 gone. Nice reaction, Chris Conley. 1 out, runner at first, Gramis, and Brett Rodriguez at the plate. Cuts and misses at the first. Nolan Hunt pitch, strike 1. Rodriguez is 1 for 3, grounded out to Estrada for the first out of the 2nd. Singled and scored in the 4th. Fly ball out to Stack for the first out of the 6th. Next pitch from Hunt misses, and the count's even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Brett Rodriguez, the young man from Queensbury, New York, Teddy Walker, takes that pitch for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt.
1 and 2 the count. Hunt trying to keep these Pioneers off the board in their half of inning number 7. That pitch misses, and it's ball 2. The count's even to Brett Rodriguez. Rodriguez pops that one up and out of play, and the count remains even at 2. Rodriguez at the plate with runners on is hitting .250. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Rodriguez is gone, and he is out number 2.
Now up to bat the DH number 14, Arthur Schaefer.
Schaefer's 2 for 3. Singled back in the 4th, doubled and scored in the 6th, and a deep fly ball out to Valentine. Jacks that one toward left center field, but Valentine's got the time to get over and make the catch. Made it look routine.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 7.5 innings here at Lucas Park, the score lanes, the Pioneers 3, and the Jammers 2. Pressure, get the paper here. It's time for tonight's cultural paper toss. That one has third base done up for they're ready for our cultural paper toss game. They've got cultural newspapers that they have to toss from their paper bag. They each black up and out in front of them. So from your newspaper, reads each sum, wins the game. Get on the mark, get set and go. First time should be good easy because they is right in front of them. The second, third call for the ones that they have to watch out for. Little long goes for winner in their second throw. There's a good one there by Carter. He's by getting third one. Carter Cocktail going a little bit of a lot on his throw. And he goes into that third of the win the game. There's a winner over there. He's Carter there. Brooks Turner takes the toss. There you go. The Pulse Zero is the local attacking the new source of Summer in print, online, mobile, Facebook, and Twitter. Become a subscriber today. The Pulse Zero is proudly the official printing provider for your Jamestown General. The Pulse Zero, covering the way you live.
They seem to have a magic spell on the Jammers, but Aubrey Major would be one of those guys that came in for the seventh inning, had a 3-up, 3-downer. And this time around, he will be facing the 8-9.
Leading off the battle game for your Jammers, the second baseman number 13,
Nick at the plate this afternoon, 0 for 2. A little pop to the first baseman Grammis for the final out of the second, and a fly ball out to center fielder Evans for the second out of the fifth. 3-2 Elmira leads. First pitch to Bernick. Has a healthy cut and fouls it. And made it through the lighting down the first base line, right beside the Pioneers' pen, and ends up over the strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wind picks up again, blowing more directly now from left to right, according to the Empire State flag out there. Next pitch to Bernick was a ball, and it counts even 1. Aubrey Major with a 1-1 pitch. Taken by Bernick outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Two balls, 1 strike. Nick, the leadoff batter here in the bottom half of the 8th, with the Jammers trailing 3-2. Fouls off another one between the lights and the first base bleachers. And the count is now 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Nick Bernick. And he calls time. Nick has been at the plate coming into the game 5 times and 2 times today, and has yet to reach base. 0 for 7. That one's in the dirt. Bounces, caught by Gilbert. Counts full now at 3-2. Good at bat for Nick. Very patient one to this point. And there is activity in the Pioneers' pen. 3-2 the count. Aubrey Major with a payoff pitch. Bernick watches ball 4. Outside and high. Leadoff walk. Good job, Nick.
Now up the back of the number 6, John Coffey.
Anthony Barone calls for the pitch runner. It'll be Jimmy Standoff going in for Nick Bernick. John Conti will step in.
And joining for your Jammers from Mercy Ridge University, number 29, Jimmy Standoff.
Now Anthony Barone calls John Conti down the third base line. A quick meeting with him before the at-bat begins. So Jimmy Standohar at first now. There's Conti at the plate, and that way out. Bottom of the eighth, Jammers trail by a run. Rizzuto is really in on the grass at third. Conti at the plate. Aubrey Major's pitch. He does bunt it into Never Never Land between the pitcher and the first baseman. Fielded by Major and makes a good toss to Connor Gramis. Sacrifice bunt for John Conti. Good job. That moves Standohar up to second with just one out.
Back on the bat for the catcher number 17, Chris Conley.
Guy you like to see coming to the plate that had a 455 average coming into the game against these Pioneers. He's 1 for 3 on this afternoon. Doubled and scored back in the first. Jammers have not scored since the bottom of the second. Trailing by a run, 3-2. Standohar at second and one out. Sneaking in behind Standohar is Rodriguez, and the first pitch from Major catches inside corner to Chris Conley, strike one. No balls and one strike to the Jammers catcher today. Chris got the day off yesterday. Did pinch hit at the end of the game. 0-1 pitch inside in the dirt. Jober tried to pull that one up into the strike zone. That would have been a magician's effort had he been able to get the call. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Standohar with his lead off the bag at second. Rodriguez right behind him. 1-1 pitch. Outside corner taken by Conley and strike 2 called. 1-2 now the count. Three runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Pioneers. 2-4-2 for the Jammers. Aubrey Major ready to bring the 1-2 pitch to Chris Conley. Chris swings and fouls it off down the third base line and out of play. Count still 1-2. Nice start for Jackson Tedder this afternoon. As I said, helping his stats out to this point, helping his team out. Gave up single tallies in the first and second, but then shut the Jammers down. Aubrey Major has been in now for a couple innings. 1-2 the count on Conley in the pitch. Conley waits and lofts it into left field. On one hop, it's picked up by left fielder Muserino, thrown in, cut off by Prezuzzo. Anthony Barone holds Standohar at third as it should. Conley.
Now on the back for the here's the third baseman number 16, Chris Estrada.
Jammers RBI guy, Chris Estrada at the plate. Add another one on here, if you would, Chris. Standohar, the tying run just 90 feet away with Estrada at the plate. Chris is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He singled back in first and then popped out 2 times to Blake Schinkel in the third and sixth. Major misses outside, ball 1. One ball and no strikes. The count to Chris Estrada, right-handed hitting third baseman of the Jammers from UTSA in Corpus Christi, Texas. That pitch misses low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. (2-0) the count. Conley with a modest lead, I guess you could say, off the bag at first. 2-0 the count and the pitch. Conley fakes like he's running, and Estrada pops up another one. First baseman goes over, and Connor Gramis makes the catch. Starting down the line is Standohar, and then he stopped. Throw came into the catcher, By the catcher, Marshall Gilbert, and coming in to score is Jimmy Standahar. We're tied at 3.
And now coming up the chapter here, first baseman number 30, Ben Brooker!
Waiting for the error to pop up on the scoreboard. It has to be a throwing error charged to the Rams. Yeah. Allowing Standahar to come in.
That was a loss. I don't know if, like, will there be a throwing error in the mix or not? I'm not sure. I'm just wondering.
I have it as an error to the first baseman Gramus, allowing Standahar to score. They don't have an error up on the scoreboard, so we'll just roll from there. Chris Estrada popping out. 4, out number 2. Ben Brookover stepping in. The first pitch in by Major was a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Aubrey Major. Go ahead run in scoring position. Ben Brookover cuts at it. Drubs it foul. Marshall Gilbert showing some frustration, slamming that ball into his catcher's mitt. And home plate umpire Bill Lindquist takes a look at it and says, "This one's no good. Here, have another batting practice ball." Counts even to 1 on Ben Brookover. Conley at second with 2 out. Leadoff walk by Bernick has led to this score being tied. High to Brookover, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Jammers finally solving the mystery that is Aubrey Major, albeit that Major's teammates allowed the Jammers to get that run in. 2-1 the count to Brookover. 2 out. Conley at second. Tied at 3. The pitch. Ben had a notion, he held off, and he takes ball 3. That was a tough one to take, but he did. Good check swing by Ben. 3-1 count now. Nice piece of opposite field hitting, by the way, by Conley to get Standahar over to third. 3-1 pitch. Inside high, ball 4. Now there's 2 runners on with 2 out. Brookover at first, Conley at second.
Now up the back right here, Jammers the center player number 2, Skylar Valentine!
Skylar Valentine steps up 2 for 3 in the afternoon. Hit the ball hard, but right-hand second baseman Mike Schenkel for the second out of the first inning. Hit one hard into that right center field gap. Ended up with a double in the 4th. And then hit one back to the pitcher, Tedder, in the 6th inning for the final out of that inning. And the first pitch for Major, outside low, ball 1. He seems to be rattled a little bit in the fact that the Jammers have brought a run across against him. It's unearned, but it is a run that he has given up now to Jamestown. Tied at 3. That pitch is belt high in the strike zone, and strike 1 called. Counts even to 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Valentine. 2 out, 2 on. Jammers trying to take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. They've tied it up at 3. Foul tipped into the glove of Marshall Gilbert, strike 2. Kids Day Sunday games getting into the rally by the Jammers here in the bottom half of the 8th. 3 runs, 8 hits, and an error now for the Pioneers. 3, 5, and 2 for the Jammers. 1-2 pitch. Valentine pulls it. Third baseman Perzuzzo handles it and beats Conley to the bag at third to retire the side. The Jammers tie it, though. 1 run across. They did that on just 1 hit and error to the Pioneers.
One run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 number
Score now at the end of 8. Jammers 3, Pioneers 3.
Scores now tied at 3 apiece. Then the time to get busy. And with that, we'll go over to Pat Warren with our 2 lucky contestants for our 50 Pat race. Thank you very much. That's that John here right there. Ready to continue our 50 Pat race. When I take over to put their foreheads on the tip of that and start spinning around it, it's 5 count 10. When I stop counting, they're going to run as fast as they can and boom, boom, boom for 20 touches to lose the game. Then let me mark, get set, and spin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go! Here they go!
The Elmira Pioneers off the scoreboard here in the top of the 9th and giving the Jammers a chance to win it in the home half of inning number 9. They'll have to face Brett Vossick, the break fielder, and third baseman Joe Prisuzo.
Visit us on at JamestownBaseball.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can call our cameras online community too.
Pioneers off the board in the 8th inning. Needs to do it one more time, and then we'll see if the Jammers have it in them to jump from behind now and win this game. They held the lead early and gave it 2-0 up until the 4th inning when it became 2-1. Then Elmira tied it at 2 with another single out of the 5th. And then another single tally in the 6th. That accounts for their 3. Jammers with single tallies in the 1st and 2nd. And just 1 there in the bottom of the 8th. Tie this up at 3.
Leading off the top of the 9th, the right fielder number 11, Brett Vossick.
Vossick having himself an afternoon. He's 2 for 3 with an RBI. Single back in the 2nd, RBI single in the 6th. Sandwiched in between a strikeout swinging. Offs the first pitch into shallow left center. Alex O'Donnell goes back and squeezes it for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down. Nolan Hunt says, thank you.
Now up the back by third baseman number 9, Joseph Prisuzo.
Joe Prisuzo steps up. Third baseman of the Elmira Pioneers. He's 2 for 3 as well. Single back in the 2nd, RBI single for him in the 4th. And then grounded into an inning-ending double play with Casey Vincent on the hill. Swung at the first pitch by Casey and grounded into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. First pitch to him, a strike from Nolan Hunt. And the 0-1 pitch, fouled back, strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting third baseman Joe Prisuzo. See who the Pioneers bring in on the hill for the bottom half of the 9th. May depend on what happens here in the top half of the inning. Hunt taking his time and is now ready to bring the 0-2 pitch way high and outside, and the count now 1-2. Joe Prisuzo, another one of the Canisius guys, 6 foot, $174 out of Lancaster, New York. I assume that's the way they say it. Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch, strike 3. In Pennsylvania, they pronounce that town name Lancaster.
Back up the back of the Pioneers, the center fielder number 1, Colton Evans.
Pronunciation in New York. Don't know for sure. We'll find out. Colton Evans, center fielder, steps in. Evans is 0 for 4 at the moment. The first pitch by Hunt's in the dirt outside, and it bounces away from Conley. It's strike 1. Evans reached on an error to Alex O'Donnell back in the first. No damage, though, as he never got around to score. Grounded up the middle. Standahar throws to Brookover, and that'll do it for The Elmira Pioneers in their half of inning number 9. 3 up, 3 down. Can the Jammers pull off the 3 up, 3 down. 8 1/2. We're tied at 3. Jammers and the Pioneers.
And the Jammers are coming up back here in the bottom of the 9th. Let's get loud and cheer them on to victory! Now pitching for the Pioneers from Manhattan College, number 26, TJ Stewart. Once again, fans, the Jammers are coming back here in the battle line. Let's get loud and cheer them on to victory! Jammers fans are in front in front of us Friday night, June 30th at 7:05 against our rivals, the Toledo Veterans. Great season available for Friday fans. And you can visit the GameTownBaseball.com or wherever office.
He walked 2 and struck out 1 and threw 32 pitches, 17 strikes, and 15 balls. TJ Stewart comes in with his Colin Stack, Alex O'Donnell.
All right, Jammers fans, coming up on the bottom of the ninth, right fielder, number 9, Stack.
Stack, one of 3 Jammers with a home run in 2017. O'Donnell the other in clutch. TJ Stewart's first pitch to Colin Stack is high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. TJ Stewart against the Jammers. This is his 4th appearance. Pitched 3 innings so far. Fouled back by Stack to even the count up at 1. TJ Stewart has walked 5, struck out 3, faced 14 batters. Nobody got on base on a hit in his previous 3 appearances. The next pitch to Colin Stack misses for ball 2. And the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. Stewart quickly works and throws outside low, ball 3. TJ Stewart, the right-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter, John Conti at the plate. 3-1 pitch. That's going to get into right field for a base hit. Colin Stack, the leadoff single for the Jammers here in the bottom half of the 9th. Stack.
Now on the backward, Derek Jammers, the shortstop, number 1. Let's go!
That brings Ryan Hill out of the dugout of the Pioneers. And Stack gets a single. Stewart just came into the game. If there's a Birds issue or they want to get all the infielders in there together to talk about what to do, they do know that Stack will take an opportunity and try to steal. Colin Stack on the season does have 7 stolen bases. Has been caught stealing 2 times. So we'll see if Colin is off to the races. Alex O'Donnell at the plate. 0 for 3 in the afternoon. In at third base is Prezuzzo and a bunt by O'Donnell. Fielded by the first baseman, he can't come up with it. Gramus and Stewart both arrived at the same place at the same time. Gramus said he had it when he went to grab the ball. He couldn't get a handle on it. O'Donnell's down at first. And the scoreboard quickly shows an error on that one, charged to Connor Gramus. And that will bring Ryan Markey to the plate with 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 9th in a tie.
Now the back of Derek Jammers, the DH number 7, Ryan Markey!
Jamestown would have come from behind Magic. They were trailing 3-2 up until the bottom half of the 8th. They got one across to tie it, and now have 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 9th, trying to get the win. TJ Stewart's pitch, Barnadat. It's in the air. Third baseman Pezzuzo falls down, and then the throw by the pitcher Stewart ends up going over the head of the first baseman, and Ryan Markey's bunt is good enough for a walk-off. Stack comes in to score from second base. And I think they made Markey a hit there because of the Pezzuzo stop. So that'll do it. The Jammers come from behind with single. That's going to do it for our broadcast this afternoon from Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park in Jamestown, New York. The final score once again, Jammers 4, Pioneers 3. We'll catch you again on Tuesday. Our next broadcast at Battery stumbled. He was the guy that made the throw here. Final score, Jammers 4, Pioneers 3. See you Tuesday here on the Jammers Baseball Day. Good night, everyone.